Intersection Magazine Podcast.
Welcome to Intersection Magazine Podcast. It's 2025 and we'd like to wish you all a Happy New Year. Belated Christmas greetings for those of you who celebrate Christmas. We'll be reviewing the November 2024 magazine, in which we covered VC funds. We talked about some of our relationships with Founders Freedom, the weaponization of information, and then an article on leadership. So thank you for subscribing. Thank you for listening. And wish you a happy new year and a prosperous rest of the year. Thank you once again for being a part of our network. So the magazine normally starts with some housekeeping where we talk about some of the services we offer. We have a web design and hosting service. We manage currently maybe about 6 to 7 clients. These are family tree sites. We have also businesses that we help run their websites. We have an e-commerce site that we also manage. We deal with a variety of tools from what you see is what you get, editors to content management systems to, of course, e-commerce platforms, WordPress, Dreamweaver, some of the tools that we use. To a small extent, a bit of Drupal, maybe a Mambo. I've also worked with learning management systems for about 2 clients in the past. So we have created an option for you to learn the basics of web design and hosting. We believe that you should not only be able to build sites, but you should be also capable of hosting the sites because it's also a money-making venture. So that's what differentiates us in terms of what we offer for those who want to learn the trade. We also focus on what we call first principles, which is basically the use of JavaScript, HTML, as well as cascading style sheets. And as I mentioned before, basic design, where you basically use an image and a design tool such as Dreamweaver. Many of these tools have evolved because now people are designing for mobile as well, so you have application design. But we have not introduced that yet into our suite. So that's the first thing I wanted to get off the table. So inside this issue, as I said before, is a piece about starting your own VC fund. We also covered different other aspects of such as weaponization of information, and then great leadership or the rise of good leadership. So in the NFX piece that was written by Omri Drory of NFX, I think it was interesting. We wanted to cover this because I felt like many of you are probably founders, but you have many parts about the funding process that you've not appreciated. So I like to give people a rough idea what it takes to transition. I appreciate people who make the transition. So in my view, people who have been building businesses should be able to transition to a place where they can fund businesses. And so once in a while, I will share insights about what other people have done, such as this article. This article, it's split into different focus areas which the author thought are important, such as the raising of money, the pitch that you need to use when you're raising the money. And then I've shared some of the top firms in terms of those that are doing seed funding, and then of course those that are focusing on different sections or different like Series A, Series B, Series C, Series D. And that information is important for you to decide who you can watch and who you can learn from in terms of investment ideas. The advantage we have in our days is many of these venture capital firms have podcasts, so you could also engage with them, find out what makes them click or tick. Now, of course, there's also the option of using what they call impact investment, or where you invest based on thematic investment, for example. So those are also ideas that you could use for you as you venture out into VC funding. Now, an area of interest that I also have focused on in the past is the importance of succession. So collaboration with Founders Freedom is part of that interest. They have created several different pathways for those who want to explore growth, from preparation to assessment to a recommendation to a business growth roadmap. Then, of course, structural issues such as importance of board formation, strategy formulation and governance, and many important topics of that nature. As part of our Hope First publishing function, we also have some books that we've put together. These are books that were written by my late father, Daniel Chanda. One of them is a glossary of terms and acronyms. You'll find interesting terms that he delved into, seeking to shed a light on. For example, regulation. His insights on regulation are interesting. We also have a survival kit of effective communication. It's really deep, but what it is really, I believe there were about 12 different important ideas about communication that you should think about. We also have our price listings for those of you who are interested in subscription. As I said before, it's $24 for the magazine. So you can subscribe for just $24 to get 12 issues for the rest of the year, sent through your WhatsApp, your Telegram, or your Signal. Then we also have included the costs for featuring on the podcast with 15-second ads for $25, as well as sponsorship of a season of 12 episodes for about $300. This can be useful for you if you wish to have an impact on a particular, or rather in a particular field, if you're into cryptocurrency, if you're into design, if you're into application design, where you sponsor a season. Then we make sure that for that season we interview or we feature you in each of our episodes where we're dealing with the subject of application design. We also have included the price that we use for subscription, or rather for the cost of space in our magazine, for those of you who want to advertise. We have also included the price, naturally, of web design and web hosting costs. We split it up into simple sites and then more complex sites. Then we tackle the subject of weaponization of information. For this one, I felt like we had entered a new age, and maybe we entered into this age quite some time ago, but I wanted to tackle some ideas that I thought would be important as you deal with the subject of the weaponization of information. So I shared some ideas, and then of course I like to do what some of you refer to, art imitating life, or life imitating art. So I used a series on television to describe the subject of how information is being weaponized. In the movie, it's an exploration of how someone created an artificial intelligence tool that has predictive abilities. It scans the internet for articles or comments or posts about a person, then predicts, of course, as well as crime statistics on the likelihood that they're going to commit an act of crime. and then communicates this information to enforcement officers so they can stop people from committing crime. So that's just some part of what we were talking about in that piece. My film of choice was Rebel Ridge, which I found a little bit similar to what you have with the Jack Reacher series. And I described Alan Richardson as pretty similar with Aaron Pierre. Aaron Pierre is, of course, African American, and Alan Richardson is Caucasian. But I think you see quite a lot of similarities in the character of Rebel Ridge. Alan Richardson, incidentally, is coming back with the Richer series, probably in about 2 months. Really excited about that. My book recommendation was about platforms, written by Michael Hyatt. It was an online PDF book that was recommended by a friend in a WhatsApp group. And it's basically how to move or how to position yourself so that you can be heard in all sorts of areas. But his references were really heavy on his work as a blogger. So bloggers might appreciate this piece of work. We have our last 4 months covered, and then we have a piece I introduced that I call my favorite tools. This one is just a description that differentiates between APIs and SDKs. This is mainly for those who are going to venture into application design and things of that nature. Then my other article was on leadership. This was after the news. We had the news about the passing of Ratan Tata. And of course, if you've read about the Tata Group, you are familiar with the effect that they've had on business in India. You could fairly say that they single-handedly manage quite a significant part of the economy in India. And so I was interested in what stood out about this man and his character. And then I used 2 series, first Billions and then second Succession, to differentiate or to highlight some of the challenges or some of the character traits that are prominent in these 2 series and what we can learn from them. I also shared an interesting description in Billions where they're going after Axe Capital and they're trying to find out what kind of leader this man is, who they're going to face as law enforcement officers who believe that this man is not doing the right thing in the financial world. And so you might really appreciate that description. I also share a poem. I called it Regrets. What I do with the poetry is to try to drop breadcrumbs. Like for those of you who want to know a little bit more about my life, I don't want to make it that easy. So a lot of my poems will give you breadcrumbs that if you're curious enough will reveal a thing or two here and there. So that's micro poetry. And then of course there's a section in which I talk about some of my progress with my bakery. And to be honest, 2024 has been a really productive year for Hope First Bakeries. And I thank you for your support. So that's basically November of 2024. We hope that we can get you to subscribe. We're looking to do a bit of expansion in 2025 rather. And we believe that you will be a part of this expansion if you subscribe. Thank you for listening. We hope to catch you in the next episode.
Intersection. Intersection Magazine Podcast.